Hey guys, welcome back and happy 4th of July. Today is just a range day video. We've brought out some new stuff to kind of play around with, kind of do some first shots with, and we've brought out some old stuff like this Kriss Vector, which is an SBR with a Defiance suppressor on it. Anyway, today's just a fun day. We hope that you're having a safe and fun 4th of July. For us, well, this is what we're doing. Let's get shooting. This is one of the guns that we brought out this afternoon that's a first shots video. This is not the first time I fired the handgun. I fired it at the indoor range first and got some groups out of it. I really like the way the thing shoots. This is the new Arsenal Firearms Strike 1 pistol. It's a 9mm handgun. It's certainly a service-sized handgun. If you look at it size-wise compared to my VP9, you'll see that it's a substantially sized gun, I should say. Although what's really unique about the gun is its extremely low bore axis. You can see how low the barrel sits in the frame there. You can see how low it sits in my hand. It uses a non-Browning type locking mechanism. I'll show you what that locking mechanism looks like here in just a moment. It's a very unique system, so when the slide moves to the rear, you'll notice that the barrel moves rearward, much like, say, a Beretta 92, but it's not using the same lockup mechanism as a Beretta 92 or a Walther P38. It's a different system. It's not a new system. It was first used around the turn of the century, but, you know, Arsenal's given new life to this old locking system, and it's actually working fairly well. I mean, I should say it's working very well for me so far. I've only put maybe 100 rounds to the gun so far. It's a very smooth shooting handgun. It's a lot like the Caracal in that it has the rear sight here, part of the rear striker plate. It is a striker fired pistol. Of course, a dovetailed front sight. If you want to replace the rear sight, you can't do it. Not yet. Hopefully they'll come out with some rear plates for the gun that'll change the rear sight, and you'll be able to put a different front sight in the gun as well, since it's a simple dovetail. But the takedown, we'll show you all that here eventually. I'm not going to do a full review of the gun. Like I said, this is just the first time out to the range with it. Let you guys see how it recoils. One of the things that they claim is that the gun has a very low recoil impulse, which, you know, if you're used to shooting 9mm, there's not much recoil there anyway. But muzzle jump is always a concern. No matter how tightly you hold a 9mm, you're still going to get some muzzle rise. Supposedly this has less muzzle rise than most other 9mm handguns, and I'm getting buzzed by a mosquito here. So that's what we're going to play with today, see how the recoil is on it, see how the reliability is, using some ZQI 124 grain NATO spec 9mm ball. And enough talking, let's do a little bit of shooting with this handgun. It does fire from a 17-round magazine. Yeah, I would say that the recoil impulse is definitely less than my VP9. It is a fairly heavy handgun. It's not lightweight, even though it's polymer framed. It is a heavy gun, but the recoil impulse is very, very controllable. I like how this thing shoots quite a bit. Trigger, a little bit spongy, but has a very crisp, light let-off. It's a unique trigger. Somebody on Instagram asked me what it was like. Is it more Glock-like or PPQ-like or something like that? It's definitely very much like a PPQ. A little bit spongy on the take-up, but the break is nice, crisp, and clean. Very short reset as well. Oops. Oops. mean, that bullet, you can hear it even when it misses the steel plate. It hits some like piece of junk metal down there, and it's such a loud bullet when it hits. Ah. Let's take a look inside the Arsenal Strike 1 pistol. Field stripping the gun is really intuitive. It's only the second time I've done it. I've not read the manual yet. Heck, I haven't even really cleaned the pistol yet. I just took it apart and looked it over before I fired it for the first time. But just like every other modern semi-automatic pistol, magazine release, typically found right here. Push it with your thumb, take the magazine out, pull the slide to the rear, inspect the chamber, make sure it's clear. You'll have to drop the striker to disassemble the pistol, at least so I believe. Just push this little captive pin across with your finger, pull it out on the other side. You can't pull it all the way out. It stops right there. And like I said, just pull that trigger, push the slide forward. It'll slide off the slide rails. Slide rails are really narrow, really thin, but they run pretty much 3/4 the length of the frame, unlike a Glock, which has basically a little metal rail here and a little metal rail here, and it's pretty much wide open, so there's going to be a little bit more friction here, but it seems to be finely machined. This is lubricated from the factory. I haven't lubed it, but nice long slide rails, which gives it a nice solid feel, not much movement between the upper and the lower. I'll just set that aside. Here's where the magic happens. Typical striker assembly back here, but this locking mechanism is what makes the gun unique. I'm going to go ahead and remove the recoil spring. Now this is not a captive spring, so you want to hold on to it. You take it out. It's a double spring. Now you can see how this locking mechanism works. This looks like it might be a Browning action, but it's just a simple locking piece. I can take this piece completely out of the gun, okay? But this is how this works. It's really unique. So this moves up about 2 millimeters. It cams on that pin that we use to take the gun apart, moves up about 2 millimeters to a little slot, which frees it up then to move forward. Notice when it's doing that, the barrel's moving straight back and forth. The barrel's not tilting like a Browning action. And there it goes back into its locked position. Released, locked. Taking it apart, you just pull this little piece out. You can't put it in backwards, so it's kind of idiot proof. Bring the barrel forward a little bit, take it out of the slide. You can see how the barrel's cut. Really, really unique. And everything seems to move very smoothly. Inside the gun is really finely machined, nicely made, typical Italian quality. Put the barrel back in, just drop it in, slide it back, take your little locking piece. Now, as I mentioned, you can't put it in backwards. This is the right way, I believe. If I turn it around, try to put it in the wrong way, it won't seat. So it only goes one way. Save you some aggravation. Push it all the way down. Take your recoil spring. A little bit challenging because it's not captive. As you can see, I'm special. I struggle with this thing. There we go. Come on, baby. There you go. All right, all back together. Marry the slide to the frame, pull it to the rear. You can kind of line up the holes. Totally missed it. Thought I lined up the holes. There's the hole. And push the pin across. And the gun's back together. Really simple. Definitely a unique locking mechanism. I like the way it works. Definitely like the way it shoots. Now let's put a bunch of ammunition through it over the course of the next month or two and see how the thing performs. And then I'll give you guys a final opinion on the handgun. So far, I am liking it. One thing I will say though is the grip. I have very big hands. It has a 17-round magazine. The grip is ginormous. I mean, there's so much extra space down here. You'd think it would hold 20 rounds given how long this grip is, but it only holds 17 rounds. So like I was talking about earlier, it's a very big handgun, both lengthwise and height-wise. But it feels really good. It has about the same grip angle as a Glock 17. So it's wanting to make you cock your wrist down to get a proper sight picture, which does help mitigate recoil a little bit. Cool little gun. Well, we're having some problems with a spray can of white spray paint, and so we're going to punish it with a 230 grain ball round fired out of the Kriss Vector. This is some American Eagle 230 grain ammo. This stuff is really affordable in the case of 45 ACP. Fortunately for me, this is courtesy of Federal ammunition. I'm going to load a few rounds in here. I probably won't need more than one, but I don't want to stop shooting with just one. My Kriss Vector, this is an old gun, guys. I've had this thing for a long time. You've seen it on the channel before. I think I did my review like 2 or 3 years ago, probably like 3 years ago. But it's been running like a top. It runs everything. I don't even clean the thing. If you look inside, you can see it's fairly filthy. I run it suppressed all the time. This is a Defiance suppressor. This is a suppressor it's meant for the gun. Of course, it is an SBR. It has a short little barrel on it. The only thing I've really done to change, I did send it back to Kriss to get the internals updated once. The thing runs everything now. It runs everything, like reloads, semi-wad cutters, all sorts of stuff. When I first bought it, when they first came out, that's when I got this gun. It didn't like anything but the hottest of the 45, which made it kind of useless for me, but I sent it back to Kriss and they put all updated parts in it. And this was a couple of years ago, 3 years ago or more. So I imagine they've changed some stuff even since then, but I don't want to mess with it. It runs flawlessly with everything I feed it. This is a 30-round magazine, standard Glock mag, of course. And that's my standing joke, of course. Hey, it uses Glock mags. Of course it's a good gun, right? One of the other things I did was I originally had a sling swivel here, which was annoying as heck. It came with the sling. I got the whole package. I replaced it with the push pin so I can quickly take its little side folding stock off. I just got rid of the sling swivel because it annoyed the snot out of me having that quick detach system on it. It was kind of poorly located. So anyway, we got a paint can sitting over there that needs some punishment, and I'm about to deliver it. Let's go see what this looks like. All right, Mr. Paint Can, happy 4th of July. You suck. That Defiance can is super quiet. I mean, you do not need hearing protection. It's a fairly large volume can. I don't shoot it nearly enough. I'm gonna have to break this thing out more. I definitely love the Kriss Vector. I did get to shoot a 9mm prototype at SHOT Show this last year in full auto, and I tell you what, guys, this thing in full auto is extremely controllable. Of course, it's a semi-automatic. There's really no kick at all because of its unique system of operation. But that 9mm gun was incredible. I'm really looking forward to that thing hitting the market. But until then, I got my little 45. Now it really gets loud when you hit steel with it. All that noise you're hearing really is the steel plate. Now I'm just going to shoot the dirt and listen to this. The bullet hitting the dirt is louder to me than the gunshot from where I'm standing. See if I can hit something like a tree. Piece of metal. Dead wood. Yeah, really quiet. A lot of fun. Love this gun. Mag dump. Always runs out too fast. The only shortcoming of my Vector. Runs out of ammo too quick. I hope you guys enjoyed coming out to the range with us this afternoon to celebrate the 4th of July. I hope you guys are having a fun and safe holiday yourselves. If you guys have any questions about anything you've seen in this video, of course you can ask those questions on our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/military arms. Also, please come by and check out coppercustom.com. It's our online store. If you would like to support the Military Arms channel, it's the best possible way to support us. A lot of great products at great prices. Also, if you haven't already, please swing by and check out full30.com. That's full30.com. It's a great online shooting community with all the web's top content creators, all in one pro gun place. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Loving this Strike 1 pistol. That thing is sweet.